that vision you have, that desired reality, whatever it may be, financial success, making millions, the cars, the houses, whatever the goal is, and it doesn't even need to be financial success in whatever way you define it. In your current form, the current way you are right now, it's impossible. It's physically impossible for you to achieve that. Now that may seem a little provocative, and in a way it is, but you have to understand that desired reality, whatever your desired reality is, reality in itself is a reflection of an internal cause. Reality is inextricably linked with who you are. You need to understand that you do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of who you are being. Everyone has goals. Everyone wants to be rich. Everyone wants to fucking be fit. Everyone wants to have great relationships. Everyone has goals. It's not goals that separate people. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of who you are being. It's ultimately who you are being determines what you get. And if you can't understand that link, you just won't be able to change reality in the reliable way that you want to, into that sort of desired state, that dream life you want to be living. And so setting goals in the traditional sense of, okay, I've got to do more, I've got to do this, it's wrong. Because once you understand that reality is inextricably linked with who you are being, fundamentally that is who you believe you are determines who you are being. Action is kind of irrelevant in that case, because action is downstream of who you are being. Action is downstream of who you believe you are, how you think, and how you feel. And so action is also an effect. Reality is an effect. If you try and change an effect with an effect, nothing will happen. And that's why you always try to go for something, you snap back, or you're living in, there's so much fear or whatever it may be that's stopping you from getting there. Your old self is just going to bring you back because all you're trying to do is change action. And that's the traditional way of approaching goals is, okay, I've got to do this. And don't get me wrong, action is the only way we can interact with reality around us. I'm not saying you're going to think the money or the lifestyle into existence. That's not going to happen. The only way you are going to do it is through action. But you have to align the causal nodes that actually make the way you act, determine the way you act. And so reality inextricably linked with who you are being. So if you realize that doing and setting a doing goal, which is like the fundamental way people set goals, they're like, I want this, so I need to do X, Y, Z. It's flawed. It doesn't work for the majority of people. The majority of people are poor. The majority of people are probably fat. The majority of people are addicted to medication, drugs, whatever it may be. So the majority of people have got this wrong. And fundamentally, if you keep approaching it in that way, you will be the majority of people. You will, by definition, be mediocre. So stop setting goals in that traditional sense. And once you understand that who you are being determines what you get, determines the sort of reality around you, you can then understand that you have to change who you are being. So instead of setting doing goals, set being goals, or an anti-goal, where, okay, you still look at what you want. You still say, okay, I want this life. I want to be making X amount of money. I want to make 150K a month. I want to live here. I want to have this house, this car. Paint the vivid picture of what the goal is, or maybe break it down into chunks, whatever feels more comfortable to you. Paint a vivid picture of what it is. And then determine from that goal, what version of me right now would that reality be inevitable in the time frame that I set? So whether it's you're setting 6 months, probably double your time frame. Double your time frame, because most people are too optimistic with what they can do. They overestimate what they can do in 6 months and they underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Humans are not very good with time. So double the time frame and design a version of you right now in the way they think, in the way they feel, in the way they act, and in the way they believe about the world around them. Design that person for whom the goal that you painted out would be inevitable. Design that version of you. It is you. And it exists as a psycho potential. All potentials exist, just as potentials. All things exist as potentials. And a psycho potential is something that you can paint in your mind as a thing, and then you can bring it into reality, a psycho-reality. And so from that perspective, you can now paint out who you need to be to achieve the goal. So instead of just trying to do more, instead of just trying to approach the goal with, oh, I need to do X, Y, or Z, it's now a bit more of an unfair fight, because doing more is turning up to a war with a wooden sword or whatever, like a shit gun that doesn't work, it jams, because you're fighting against, it's like swimming upstream. It's like swimming into a rip current, because you're trying to change action, but action is fundamentally determined by upstream things, the way you think, the way you feel, the beliefs that you have, your identity. I mean, you're trying to fight against the fundamental things that determine how you operate. So why don't we change those upstream things whilst changing action at the same time? So we take that relentless, persistent, imperfect, violent action, and we take conscious effort to changing the way we feel, conscious effort in changing our state of being, which is our thinking and feeling together, conscious effort in trying to change our assumptions about the world and trying to present new evidence for new beliefs that align with that person. You take full alignment. And the easiest way you can do this is just by embodying that person, like sort of a method acting strategy. And at first it will feel strange probably. But after a while, the self is just kind of the known, the self is the familiar. So after a while, it's just going to become who you are. It's just going to become natural. And so that's how you do it. I mean, and there are other things probably outside the scope of this video that you can also employ to rewire your identity, rewire the way you believe, who you believe you are, and fundamentally how you act and how you operate in the world. I mean, a couple of those are going to be visualization, self-hypnosis, recording evidence to shift beliefs, all of these sorts of things on the side as well that you can be doing beyond just persistent action, to change how you act, to change how you feel, to change how you think, to change how you believe, all aligned with the goal. So it's omnimorphic, it's changing, omni meaning total, morph meaning change. It's a total change of the entire causal chain of what determines what you get in reality. So if we're doing this multi-pronged attack approach, instead of turning up to the goal with a wooden sword, we've now got an AR-15. You know, whatever it may be. We've now got an F-35, whatever, pick a powerful weapon. Wait for the plane. That gave you a second to just absorb what I'm saying. Because once you stop trying to fight with a wooden sword and you come in with your F-35, you change everything altogether, you change who you are being. Who you are being inevitably will determine what you get. They're inextricably linked. So if you change who you are being, external reality, don't get me wrong, there will be a lag time. You need to be persistent with action and you need to be patient. Things don't just happen instantly. You need to be patient in the way that you do it. But fundamentally, if you change who you are, your external reality will begin to catch up to sort of reflect that change. And that's how you achieve the goals. You change internally first. You become that person for whom the goal would be unavoidable, the person for whom the goal is literally inevitable. And then once you embody that person, you just wait and you take persistent action. Once you approach from this once you take this omnimorphic approach, success just becomes inevitable. And that's the way you should approach goals. So stop doing it in the fundamental way and take this approach of anti-goals, because goals is keeping people poor, broke, and fat, evidently. So stop doing what the average do, unless if you want to be average. If you want to be mediocre, don't listen to anything I said.